to save the planet and plant lots of trees. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Dr. Sparks, and this is Typewriter Stories. Let's get right to it.
I know a place that's really cool. It's up higher than any school. Have a jetpack and some fuel, 'cause we're going up high, high in the sky. Come on up for a ride with your good friends at your side. Imagination is your guide, 'cause it's Dr. Sparks' Science Story Typewriting Time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am Dr. Sparks, and this is Typewriter Stories. I just got a haircut, if you can't tell, and it's making me feel so free right now. But every single day of the week at 4 p.m., I lead a celebration of creativity and storytelling. A guest Zoom calls in, and today we have Henry as our guest. And Henry's going to help me come up with a series of stories today. And I'm going to use this mechanical typewriter here in front of me to type up the stories that she's helping me to make. And then we have Cecilia Olivera-Hillway is our illustrator, and she is going to draw pictures that go along with these stories as well. Now, right now, we are in the middle of truly an amazing story. It's a story about overcoming your personal fears. You see, what's happening in this story is there is a robot, and the robot's name is Dash. And Dash has a fear. Dash is afraid of heights. I mean, this robot is so afraid of heights. Sometimes if he stands up tall, it makes him start to sweat. And if he's on the kitchen table, oh gosh, he might faint. Now, one day, the huge sign at the top of the world that tells everybody to take care of the planet, to plant lots of trees, and to make sure that they don't let CFCs into the ozone, that sign got broken. The neon light went out. And suddenly people started polluting and doing bad things to the planet and digging up more and more petroleum and making it into plastic that went into the ocean and made the whales die. It was really getting dire. Things were getting bad. And so Dash the robot had to scramble. That's our word of the day today. He had to quickly get everything together, and he boarded for the first time in his life an airplane. You've got to understand, this was a really scary thing for Dash to do. How do you think he felt, Henry? Will you tell us, if you were a robot afraid of heights, and for the first time in your life you had to go into an airplane, what would your face look like, do you think, if you were such a robot? And what would you say?
Scary. My tummy's hurting. And my tummy might hurt a lot. Because when I get scared, my tummy hurts usually.
And Henry, this is the beautiful thing about this story. Dash is sick to his stomach. He's very, very scared. There's nothing he hates more in this world than heights. And yet, to save the planet, he's willing to overcome his fear of heights. Shaking and his circuits sparking, he gets on board of that airplane, and the plane taxis to the runway, and the engines roar, and they start to roar down the runway, and the plane lifts up, and Dash is sitting in his seat, and he's covering his eyes, or he's covering his cameras, right, because he doesn't have eyes. He's covering his cameras, he's shaking, his accelerometer is going all over the place, because he's just sitting there shaking, he's so afraid. And the captain's voice says, "We've reached cruising altitude, we're at 10,000 feet above the surface of the Earth right now." And so Dash, he opens up his eyes, and he looks out, and it's beautiful. He had no idea that the Earth looked so wonderful that high in the sky. What would your face look like if you were a robot and for the first time you saw the beauty of the horizon of the Earth? What would you look like, Henry?
I would feel really, really good.
Do you think that you might overcome your sense of fear at that moment, or do you think you'd still be really afraid? I think you could feel both, maybe. Would you be afraid and happy, or would you just be happy?
Happy.
You'd just be happy? In that moment, Dash completely forgot about his fear. He stopped shaking. His accelerometer settled back to 0. His cameras, they opened all their way so that they could capture more of the light. And he turned on extra cameras. Now he had like 8 eyes looking at the landscape, recording in 4K in each of them. You're really drinking in the landscape. And a tear came to his eye, and one of his cameras fried out, because you can't cry if you're a robot, because things start to break. But it didn't matter. He took in the beautiful sight, and he realized that it was all worth it. If he needed to go up into the sky to save the planet, well, if the sky looked that good, if the planet looked that cool, then by golly, he was going to do what it took to save the planet. So he went to the back of the airplane, and he opened the door of the airplane and went... The cabin depressurized, which would have been bad for the humans, but robots don't need to breathe. So he was fine. And then he put on his parachute, and he gussed up his strength, and then he leapt out into the void. He flew, and he soared, and then he pulled the ripcord, and his parachute opened up. And what do you think his face looked like whenever his parachute opened up? Was he happy or was he terrified?
Happy.
So he'd have a big old grin?
Yeah.
Show me what his face would look like. He's got wind blowing through his hair. If he had hair like yours, it would be whipping back and forth. He breaks the speed of sound. He breaks twice the speed of sound. There's 2 sonic booms. But then he sees it, the sign on the top of the world. He lands on it, and using one of his arc welding arms, he's able to fix the sign. He repairs it, and the lights come back on, and the people, they realize that they shouldn't be polluting the earth and putting plastic into the oceans. They remember that there are whales there, and that they need to take care of them. And so they stop what they're doing. They return the dinosaur juices back to the crust of the earth, and they set about healing all the things that they'd done to the planet. And Dash did it. Dash overcame his fear of heights and saved the earth. Now, what do you think? Is that the end of our story? What's the last line here? Does he return to the ground and he's never scared of heights again?
Yeah.
Henry, this is a great story. You gave me such material to work with. What a character, Dash! The fear of heights. I love this. Let's finish it and make it just great. Let's see what Cecilia's drawing first before we put this last line on there. Look at that little guy. He's terrified.
Cecilia, did you know that? That's exactly what he looks like.
I actually have a Dash myself.
Henry, will you show us your Dash? All right, I will put the finishing touches. While you're doing that, I will put the last line on this story. And Dash returned to the verdant
Super cute.
earth. Oh, that's beautiful. There he is. Do you know what the word verdant means, Henry? It means like lush and green, and I'm going to use it in this story if that's okay. Dash returned to the verdant earth, to the green and lush earth, and was never afraid of heights again.
And that's only story 1. The
Yeah.
next book that maybe we have time to make is going to be story 2.
Exactly. We definitely need to come up with a second story. Do you think that this next story will be a sequel, Henry, or is it going to be a totally new story?
Totally new story.
Perfect. I can't wait. Before we start the next story, though, very quickly, I want to tell our audience, the people watching at home, what the riddle is. So I've already told this riddle to Henry. She got it on her first try. She's great at riddles. So she's going to be the judge. If you're watching at home, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and leave your answer to this riddle in the comments. And if you get it right, something terrible is going to happen to me here in the studio. And by terrible, I mean pretty funny. Don't worry, you're not going to hurt me. Here is our riddle for today. I'm like a helicopter turned upside down. I guzzle weeds and grass. Push me back and forth or ride on my back, and your yard is as smooth as glass. So, if you can answer that riddle and you're watching, please put your answer in the comments and we will go on. Now, Henry, if you get the opportunity, every day of the week we have a word of the day, and today's word of the day is scramble. If you can find a way to put the word scramble into your story today, that would be pretty cool. If it doesn't happen, no worries, but it'd be a pretty fun thing to aim for. So, before we do that, one last thing I forgot. What do you think the title of that last story was? Dash the robot, do you think? We can't hear you, Henry. Oh, now we can.
It's called Dash's First Fear.
Dash's first fear. Fear. I love that. And now we are going to mail this story to you. So I've got my stamper right here, and I'll make sure to put the right number on your story. 1970. That's the number of story that I've written. Fold it up into thirds. Put it into the envelope. Make sure it's nice and sealed. And then tuck it into the mailbox. Make sure that the flag is up. And then you know what happens next. Chunk, chunk, chunk. The mail truck will carry that letter all the way to you, and you'll get your story soon enough, just like you got your other stories, huh? All right, enough of that, though. Let's get right back to it. What's our next story, Henry? Tell me.
It's called How Dash Came to Me.
How Dash Came to Me. I love that title. How Dash Came to Me. And how does the story start? Tell me.
Dash is playing in his home world and homeland.
Home world or homeland? Is he on a different planet, or is he on someplace on Earth?
Someplace on Earth.
In his homeland. Dash was playing in his homeland when what happens? Does he get attacked by peacocks?
No. He
An eagle swoops out of the sky and picks him up?
he goes to where he was made, and he finds another robot called Dot.
Okay, Dash was playing on his homeland when the ball he was throwing landed in the factory where he was made. Oh dear, I went down too far. He went into the factory, and when he did, he met another robot. And what was this robot's name?
Dot.
Dot. Named Dot. And what does Dot tell him?
What?
Does Dot say something to Dash?
Yeah, and then they become friends.
Okay. Dot said, "We're both robots. Want to be friends?" "Yes," said Dash. And friends they became. Okay. Now how does Dash make his way to you? Does Dot help?
Well, he goes out to the factory where he was made in his homeland.
Dash, okay, they're already in the factory where he was made.
And they come out of it.
Okay. Dash and Dot left the factory. And what happens next? Do you think that...
When they found a poster that blew to the ground from wind.
What was it? A toaster?
A poster.
Oh. They found a toaster. Yeah. A poster that had blown to the ground. And let's take a look at what Cecilia's drawing and see what she's got going on with this drawing. Cecilia, I love it. Look at the two robots looking at each other.
It's this is probably when they meet and they're looking at each other. Like they probably think, oh, we look very much alike.
Yeah. I feel like they're really sharing a moment here. Like, you know, we had a story the other day about a boy who met a rabbit in his yard. And he looked at the rabbit, and the rabbit looked at him, and then the rabbit ran away. But, like, there was that moment that they shared. And I feel like Cecilia has done a beautiful job of capturing, like, a moment where these two robots are really looking at each other, really seeing each other. So what does this poster say, Henry?
The poster says, come to America and find a friend.
The poster said, and actually, before I type that, it looks like Hannah is giving us a shout out on Facebook. Hey Hannah, how's it going? We respond back with a heart emoji and a blowing kiss emoji and emoji that horrifyingly has hearts for eyes. It's a lot to think about. And a big smile emoji. We respond right back with that energy. Thanks, Hannah. The poster said, come to America and make lots of friends.
And he also got a fear because he was also playing in the nighttime and he put the poster in his pocket.
Okay, okay, how about this? The poster said, come to America and make lots of friends. But it was dark outside, and Dash hurried home.
Because he was scared of the dark.
The poster in his pocket because he was scared of the dark. Okay, that makes sense. This is pretty great. Okay, so he's got the poster though. Is this the beginning? Does he want to? And you know, the nice thing is that a lot of robots come to America on boats, actually. They don't actually come on airplanes. There's big barges, cargo ships that could carry robots from wherever Dash was made. So do you think he takes a boat so he doesn't have to take an airplane? Since we know from the first story that he's scared of heights?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he boarded on his little boat that he made with his new friend Dot.
Well, I have a question for you, Hannah. Excuse me. I have a question for you, Henry. Does Dot come on the boat with Dash?
Yes.
They do. They go together. They're friends. Mm-hmm. They're friends till the end, and so they go to America together. Okay. Dash, and Dot built a boat, and together they sailed to America. And when they got there, who would be waiting for them but Henry?
But not both of them. I only have Dash. And Dot found a new home with a very good friend too.
And the two friends stayed in good contact, sending lots of emails back and forth to stay in touch. Do you think that's the end of the story? I feel like that's a pretty good place to end it.
Yeah.
You know, what's nice about this story is that in the title, you said exactly what this story was going to be. And then you did exactly what you set out to do. How Dash came to me, the story is Dash coming to you. So it's kind of nice. You told us what the story was going to be, and then you did exactly that. And sometimes I feel like the best stories are those stories which tell you exactly what they're going to do, and then do that perfectly. So I really like this story a lot. Okay, the end. And let's check in with Cecilia and see her drawing. It looks like she's added some color to it, and it looks astonishingly beautiful. Look at those blues. Cecilia, tell us about what you've got here.
So they meet. I have the poster right here, and with a teeny tiny boat, just to suggest that the trip will not be on an airplane. And yeah.
Henry, what I love about Cecilia's drawing here is that you can see that the robots are made out of plastic or metal. Can you see the glare of the light, those little streaks of white on the top of the balls? Cecilia's a really talented artist, and she can make it look like the light was bouncing off of them, like they were made out of metal or plastic. I mean, it looks just like your robot, doesn't it? It's crazy. What do you think? I love that little boat, too. All right. So, Henry, it looks like somebody who's watching on Twitch actually has an answer to our riddle today. So Tyler on Twitch thinks that the answer to the riddle is a lawnmower. Is that the right answer?
Yeah.
They got it right? Do you know what happens next then? Can you tell them what's going to happen?
I forget what you said before.
Well, let's go ahead and see what happens, because it's pretty awesome! Bananas! I get bananas dumped on my head. All right. Well, with that, this is actually just about the end of our episode. I need to mail this story to you first, but very soon we're going to be saying our adieus for today. Before we do that, let's go ahead and stamp our story. This is 1971. I will fold it into thirds, and I will add it to the envelope with your other story. Once again, I'll make sure that it's all nice and sealed. I wish there was space in there for a banana, but unfortunately you can't. It costs extra postage. And I'll make sure that our flag is up. And ka-chunk, chunk, chunk, chunk. And it will go all the way to you. Now, Hannah is watching at home right now, and she is excited because she's actually going to be on a future episode. And Hannah, we cannot wait to have you on the show again. You were magnificent the last time you were on. You're an immensely talented storyteller, and I can't wait to see what stories we come up with next time. Now, Henry, this is your second time doing stories, and these stories I feel like were just as great as the last time. You have a real knack for this stuff. I love the robot. You gave him such personality and character. Now, we actually are going to have to take off here. I think this is the end of our show for today. But Henry, thank you so much for being such an excellent storyteller. You gave us the robot that was afraid of heights. You gave us the sign on top of the world. You gave us Dot and Dash and their unlikely friendship, how they were separated, and how they stay in touch today. What a great set of stories. Cecilia Olivera-Hillway is our illustrator. She has such talent. Look at those robots she drew. This is an Anything Place show. I am Dr. Sparks. If you enjoyed what you saw today, you can tune in every single day at 4 o'clock p.m. We do this Monday to Friday. And on Saturdays at 11 a.m. we do it as well. If you'd like to subscribe, you can go to drsparks.com and find our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Please like and subscribe. And you can also sign your child up to be in a future episode, to be our guest, and help me come up with these incredible stories that are illustrated by Cecilia.
I just want to say that in a future episode, I want to be in Martian Explorers someday.
Yes, we also do another program. We did it this morning, actually, where we go to the surface of Mars and lead a role-playing adventure there. And it is a hoot. It is really crazy. And Henry, we would love to have you be one of the Martian Explorers next time we do one of those. With that, I am Dr. Sparks. This is Typewriter Stories. Until next time, make sure that you're keeping your typewriters oiled and your typewriter fingers limber. And I will see you next time. I'm Dr. Sparks.